today's video, I just wanted to come on here and give an introduction like this so you guys are not too scared and too alarmed. So this is basically a video just kind of catching you guys up on the major things that have happened in my life in the, you know, the first 2 months, child, of 2020. And I can already tell 2020 is going to be a bumpy ride, okay? But yeah, I'm here for the long haul, and thank you guys for clicking on this video, and I'm gonna kick it over to myself now. I know that it has been a very, very, very long time since I have been on camera, but my life has been a mess, okay? Like, my life has been everywhere, and I'm so glad that I'm finally able to sit in front of you guys and talk about it. I know I look really crazy right now, but just bear with me and, you know, journey with me through this craziness. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and work through it. So I guess we can go ahead and call this a get ready with me video and consider it that. Why does my camera, my screen, keep getting darker? Oh my God, that's gonna kill me. It's gonna bother the living crap out of me. January was actually a rough month for me. It really was. And I'm still suffering through what happened in January. I did have some good points about January, but I've also had some kind of lows. Well, I don't want to say that it was a low, because for me, when it comes to money, I don't really consider that a low, because money is replaceable. You can always, you know, replace money, and it's, I don't want to say easy, but you know, there's ways to replace money. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not, I try not to cry or make a big deal over things that are caught, like, involving money, because life is way more than that and we can't take it with us anyway. So when it comes to money, I try to be very optimistic about it, and I'm naturally a problem solver. So if that's the case, that's something I can solve. If there's anything else, we might have a little more difficulty with it, but when it comes to money issues, I can make $1. Sis, if there's one thing that sis can do, sis can make $1, and she can make it real quick, okay? So when it comes to money issues, I try not to stress over it, but these last few months have been very testing and trying. I started doing my makeup a new way, so I'm gonna do foundation first now. Like, that's the way I started doing it, and I actually like the result. Then I do my eyebrows, and then I do my eyes last. But previously I did it in reverse. And I started using this new foundation, which is Uma. We'll get into this in another video. We will get into this in another video. That is not, you know, what this video is about, but just know that that's what I'm using in case you guys are curious. I'm using Black Pearl T1C, not T1W, T1C. Again, we'll get into that in another video. But yeah, so in January, my registration expired, and I'm not 100% sure if this is everywhere. I'm sure it is, but you know, just in case. My registration expired. It was time for me to renew my tags, and in the state of Texas, you have to get a inspection on your vehicle before you can register it. Basically just saying that it is up to code, it is up to Texas standards, it's not polluting the air, and it's safe on the roads for both you and other people on the roads, right? So that's basically, in a nutshell, what the inspection is for. Again, if the inspection is not, what the f, and y'all, I'm so sorry, like, I don't know what's going on with my camera, why it's like steady going in and out like that with the lighting, but I don't really have time to fix it, so sorry about that if it steps out of line. But okay, and I'm sorry, I had to go wet my sponge. But where was I? So yeah, in January, yeah, so in the state of Texas, you know, you have to do the registration, or excuse me, you have to do the inspection in order to register your car. Oh my freaking gosh, if you don't act freaking right, lighting. I'm so sorry, y'all. I don't know what's going on with it. But yeah, so in the state of Texas, you have to go ahead and do the inspection in order to register your car. And if you're like me, I like to save a penny. Now, most of the times that works, but yeah, so I try to save $1 anywhere that I can, and sometimes that always, sometimes it doesn't always work out for me, and that was the case in this situation. So I took it to a mom and pop shop because to me, going to get an inspection at a dealership, and dealerships cost like what, I don't know, $50, $60, maybe more than that. I'm just throwing out a price there, but I feel like it costs a little bit more than that. But yeah, and it's inconvenient because the type of car that I have, there's not a lot of those dealerships around. And I literally have to go at least a good 30-40 minutes away from me to go find that particular type of dealership. It's not like a super fancy car or anything, but it's just that I guess because a lot of people don't specialize in it, and now I know why they don't specialize in it. We're gonna get to that in a minute, but yeah, because of that reason, I have to go super far in order to get to a dealership, right? A dealership that specializes in the type of car that I have. I go to this mom and pop shop. I've been to, mind you, I've been to this shop before. It's not like this is a random shop that I selected, or I had no knowledge of this shop, or this was recommended to me. Like, no, I've been to this shop did I go there last year? I went to them last year, so I had the same car. So I've been having my car for about 3 years now. Same car. They did it last year, no problems. They were really, really quick, really fast. It was only $20 for the inspection. The man hopped in, he hopped out. Like, it was all easy, breezy, beautiful cover girl on that bitch, right? We did the inspection before, so I went to them again because, it was no problems. It was no problems last time, so why should it be problems this time? So we went there, and it was a little bit of a wait, and I do want to remind y'all that during this time, it was negative 50 degrees. Negative 50 degrees out there. It wasn't literally negative 50 degrees, but it felt like negative 50 degrees when we went that day. Like, the wind just like whipped right through you. Like, we in Texas. Like, I'm in Texas. Listen, we don't do extreme cold very well. And this was one of those moments that I would consider it to be extremely cold, right? Extremely cold. So we waited in the car for a little bit, and it was finally our turn. I'll say we waited about 30 minutes, but I'm a patient woman, so, that didn't bother me. We went inside, and I sat there, and within maybe 5 minutes, somebody comes out and tells me, hey, your brake light's out. Now, mind you, I have a newer car, right? I have a newer car. And with newer cars comes a few benefits, like indicators, notifications on the dashboard. Something is going to alert to you that something is wrong with your car, and I didn't get an alert. Now, my car alerts me when it is 35 degrees or below. Listen, if you get in my car, people always, the first thing that they notice when they get in my car is that my car makes a lot of noise. Like, and we're not talking about like something's wrong with the noise. Like, there's a lot of chimes and music that goes on in my car. I have a welcome ringtone. I have a welcome ringtone in my car when you get in, and people are always like, what's that? And I was like, oh, it's my car welcoming me into the car, right? If there's something, even the smallest, slightest thing wrong with my car, it alerts me. So the fact that this man came in there and tried to tell me that my brake lights was out, I'm just like, well, I didn't get an alarm, like an alert for it. So he's like, yeah, they're out. Either you can fix it. He's like, if you want to go out and fix it yourself, you're going to be failed, or we can go ahead and fix it now for you and we can pass you. At this point, it's, again, negative 50 degrees outside, and we had already waited for that amount of time. And I had my mom with me, and we had to get somewhere. So I was like, you know what? I don't have time to waste her time or to go find somebody to change this light bulb. How much is it gonna cost? This man hit me with the $20. $20 to change a light bulb. I don't really know a lot about the mechanics, but what I do know is that sis is not stupid. Sis got an education. Sis is very handy. Sis is very creative. And I could have definitely done my research on my part and went on YouTube and figured out how to change the damn light bulb for less than $20. And I know that light bulb was probably only about $5 at the most. But again, my mom had somewhere very important to be at a specific time, So I didn't want to hold her up. So I was like, you know what? Go ahead and charge me the $20. Even though I know y'all are taking advantage of me, go ahead, you can deal with the Lord and speak to him about it when you get to the pearly gates of heaven, right? They changed my light bulb. They parked my car up to the side, they handed me my keys. They was like, you can go. I get in my car won't start. My car is not greeting me when I arrive in my car. There are no lights. It is not functioning. It's not clicking. You know, when you hear your car turn over, it's not turning, right? Like the key is not turning. So I know that there is no ignition going into the starter or no fire in the starter. Okay, there's nothing. It's dead. And I'm like, okay, sometimes my car does this thing where if you don't, how can I explain this? My car does this thing to where if you don't handle it right, it locks up. Like the wheel will lock up and nothing will turn on. Like it won't, no lights or anything, right? So I'm like, okay, I know what to do. Like that's all it is. He just didn't turn it off. Like he just didn't switch it over right. So I took the keys out and tried. And at this point, you know how your key is supposed to do this? My key won't even over. It's just stuck here. So pulled out again, tried it again, same thing. Did it again, it finally switches over, but it's still no lights, no sound, no motor, no engine, no nothing. So my mom was like, well, we gotta go over there and tell them something's wrong with the car. I'm gonna stop the story right here. I'm gonna do my eyebrows off camera and then I will be back. Where was I? So, oh yeah, so the car would not crank, so we went over to talk to the man and he was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, you just worked on my car and now it's not cranking or anything like that. So the man, you know, did what he could. He kept going back and forth. He kept putting the car on different machines. And meanwhile, I'm standing outside because I'm like, oh, this is a quick fix. Like, you know, nothing was wrong with my car prior to, so maybe they, you know, unscrewed or I don't know. Maybe they unplugged a plug or something like that, right? That's what I'm thinking in my head. No. Basically, what ended up happening was that, and I'm sorry, I'm mixing a concealer down here. Basically, what happened was they shorted out my battery by putting in the wrong light bulb, and I found that out later. Basically, he was saying that it was something wrong with my battery. My mom is there. Now, my mom is not a chill person, right? My mom has no chill. No chill at all, but I love her to death. And my mom is sitting there like yelling at the man and she's trying to figure it out and she's panicking. And I'm just like, Mom, like chill out. Like you don't get anything with vinegar. You get more with honey and sugar than you do vinegar, right? My mom doesn't, she doesn't really understand that concept. So he gets the car started, but I can hear by the engine that it is weak. And I know my car, you know, like I know my car. I've been with my car for all this time. I know my car. And I'm like, yeah, something's wrong. So he was like, once you cut it off, that's it. It's not starting back up. And we ended up leaving because there was nothing more that that person could do for me. They weren't like a real auto shop. They were more so specialized in tires. So we went down the street to Walmart and cut it off because we were thinking that we needed a battery. Walmart was just about to close. For you guys that don't have this, some Walmarts actually have an auto center, and we went to the Walmart that was closest to us, and my mom knows a few people up there. And yeah, they were telling us that they felt like it was a starter issue. And I've had in the past, I've had almost every kind of issue with a car that you could possibly imagine. So I know for a fact that it was not a starter issue. When you have a starter issue, it will slowly start to decline, and you'll, like, your car will slowly start to decline or like decrease in the power behind it cranking up. So, you know, when it first happens, it may go right, and then the next time, maybe like a couple of days later or a week later, it'll go and then it'll just, you know, keep escalating until it goes and it won't turn over, right? So I knew it wasn't a starter issue. I would have noticed the signs of that earlier on. Then when he finally got it cranked up, he said it could be an issue with the starter, which I knew that wasn't it. And my mom kept saying we need to get a battery. Well, the guy was just so convinced that it was the starter that he said that he positive in that he didn't think that the battery would do anything. So we ended up listening to him, and we left. We ended up leaving. Came back because we went up the hill and we came back, and my mom was like, you know what, I think it's the battery, like let's just go back and get a battery. So we went back to Walmart to get a battery, but the problem was once we lifted up the hood, my car has a like a cover over it. It was really weird that it has like a protective cover over it, and it has nails in it. So I have a friend, and I called her, and my friend knows a thing or two about what's under the hood of a car, and she told me that all you need is just to screw it off. Like, you don't need to do anything special with it, just screw it off with a regular screwdriver. Well, at this point, the auto center is closing, and the manager walks out, and we ask him if he has any tool sets, because I took out my tool sets the day before because I was cleaning out my car. So I had a tool set in my car, and I took it out. So the man comes over there, the manager, and you could really tell that he didn't want to help us. And he told us that these were plastic screws. They weren't metal, so you couldn't take them out with just a regular screwdriver. Now in my head, I'm like, you know what? I didn't already let one person fuck me over. Let me go ahead and stick with what I know. So I was like, well, that's cool, but can you still give me what I need? And the guy was just like really reluctant in giving us the screwdriver or whatever. And I was like, you know what? Just F it, never mind. So one of the workmen, he was telling us that we need to go to like a Pep Boys or something. Like maybe we should go there and see if they can help us. Well, there was a Pep Boys down the street, so that's where we headed to next. Again, it's still negative 50 out here, and I can't really cut my heat on because I'm just afraid that it will zap the energy from my car. Like, it was a lot going on. So we went to Pep Boys, and I went in there and I talked to this one man. He barely spoke English. He went in the back and got this other man out, and I talked to him a little bit, and he was like, you know what, let me try something. If you guys don't know, Pep Boys actually allows you to rent tools for free there. So if you ever have any issues, go to Pep Boys. They have tools for you to rent for free, no charge to you. Just give them your ID, and then they'll do their thing. Or they will just do it for you. So yeah, free of charge for that. So the guy came out there, and I was just like, you know what? I just need you to get this cover out. I can do everything else myself because I can change a battery myself. So I was like, you know what? Just get it off. And what really pissed me off is the guy, when we went to Walmart, told us that we needed like a special screwdriver to pull it out. When I tell you the man from Pep Boys literally came out and used a regular screwdriver just to like loosen it, and then he used his fingers to unscrew it, I was so pissed. Pissed with a T at the end. Pissed, right? So we got the lid off, and we just left it on there because, again, my mom had somewhere to be. So fast forward all that. The rest of the information is not really important. But by the time we get back to my mom's house, because I want to drop her off, we come up with the idea of calling AAA to see what they say, like to put it on a machine to tell them, for them to tell us what's wrong. So they put it on a machine or whatever, and the guy that night was telling me that it's not a battery issue, it's an alternator issue. And I'm just like, how the hell? No, excuse me, a transmission issue. And I'm like, bro, like my car is new. Like I have a 2017. It's no way that it is a transmission issue. Like, and where the place that I bought it from, I know that they had to take good care of it. So it's no way it was a transmission issue. So he was pissing me off, and we wasted an hour out there. Not an hour of him coming there, but literally an hour outside of just waiting for him to tell us what was wrong. And he kept, you know, telling me to cut it on and off, and it was a mess. It was a whole lot of. So I ended up spending the night at my mom's house. which is a story in its own, but we're not gonna get into that today. Fast forward the next day, I need to get home. Like, at this point, I'm devastated because I love being by myself. I love my own space. So I'm uncomfortable here. I don't have any pajamas. My phone is dying. My mom is team Android. I'm team iPhone. Like, it was a lot, right? So the next day we called another AAA representative just to get a second opinion. So AAA comes back out there and he's asking me, you know, asking me questions and stuff, and he literally stayed maybe about 10-15 minutes and told me, oh, it's an electrical issue, and because it's an electrical issue, we can no longer further this service of your request. By the way, if you guys have not tried the Fenty powder, this stuff smells delectable. But anyway, so yeah, he was telling me that it was basically an electrical issue, and AAA cannot work on electrical issues or cars that could potentially have electrical issues just due to the potential damage that they could cause to your car. So he stopped the service, and I was like, are you kidding me? So I ended up at that point having to just go the more expensive route, contact the dealerships, and, you know, ask them their opinion. So I asked them their opinion, and this one guy from a dealership that's about an hour away from me was like, yeah, it's not a starter issue if you hadn't had issues like that prior or leading up to it. And then he was like, it shouldn't be the transmission issue because the transmission in those cars should last anywhere between 5 to 7 years, and you haven't had it that long. So he just told me to bring it in. Now, dealerships, you know, they charge like, what is it, $150 to put it on the machine because the machine tells you everything that's wrong with it. And then they charge you for the service and the labor itself. So that was what I was afraid of. Long story short, because I know this is getting kind of long and the rest of the details are pretty minute. The AAA guy that refused to do the service on my car, that was there the second time, he ended up calling another AAA representative, a tow truck guy. The tow truck guy got lost 3 times and had to call us. And then by the time it got evaluated, my car got there and it got evaluated, they told me it was a battery issue. A battery issue. Something that we originally knew, but because again, we let these funky little mens try to convince us otherwise and talk us out of what we knew to be true or what we knew. You know, like, I don't know how to explain it, but like you know, like if you've been with something or someone so long, you don't need anybody to tell you anything about it because you know. Like, for instance, if you've been with your man or your woman for a while, like, you know when something's wrong. Even if they say, oh, no, I'm good. Like, no, you know. Like, I know when something's wrong. My mom, she can just call me and say, hey, and I'll be like, what's wrong? Like, I know. You know what I'm saying? So for them to tell me that I was wrong, I should have just, I don't know why I listened to other people, but I did. Anyways, the results of all of that cost me $500 for a fucking battery because apparently my battery is a special battery, right? I ended up spending, like I said, the $500 from the dealership. I got 2 services because the second service they just ended up switching that over into 1, and then on top of that my registration was due in January as well, and I still ain't got the car registered. Like, it's a mess because that happened and then it caused a ripple effect, right? So because of that, then I was late on my, no, I was not late on my rent because I had to cheat Tom to pay Harry. My car note fell behind and I didn't call them because I didn't feel like, you know, putting up with my loan people. That was that. That was the major thing that happened in January. Now fast forward to February and something else major has happened to me, but that's going to be another story for the next video. I'm actually going to finish off this look. And yeah, I'm gonna see you guys in the next video, but stay tuned because I'm gonna finish off this look and close out this video. that is it for today's video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. There was more that went on, but I didn't want to make this video too long, and I already feel like this is a 20-minute video, so I cut it short. I will be giving you guys a story time on the next video, which will feature this exact same look, so make sure that you stick around for that. You know what, just matter of fact, just go ahead and watch all my videos. I don't have that many, so just go ahead and watch them all. Support your girl. Again, as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that you're following me on my Instagram, which is the exact same as my username. That's _so_Katie. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.